Hello and welcome to the show. We are back on Forza Horizon 4, building another vehicle to take on the Needle Pass hill climb stage, and the car of choice is a BMW M1. Now you might notice, yes, it has already been built. I had to capture crash. So, yeah, the car is pretty much ready to go. It's an interesting choice of starting vehicle. We know the M1 is a very, very good car in general. It does start off as a mid B class, which when it comes to building does make it a little bit tough because, well, we need race tyres on the car. We have seen this time and time again, and while that uses up quite a lot of PI, it does use up a lot of PI putting on the race tyres. They are very, very important in everything, so you don't necessarily get the biggest options elsewhere, although you do still have more than some cars we've seen. We've got maximum width tyres, 265s at the front, which is not too bad, and 325s at the rear. So, overall, pretty happy with the old tyre size. We've got the track width adjusters, wheels out as far as we can go, and we do have pretty much all the handling bits that you would want on the car. So, full-on race brakes, the race suspension, the various bits and pieces, anti-roll bars, the roll cage, and we can get the full stage weight reduction, which puts the car down to £2,500, which isn't too bad. I mean, it's £1,000 heavier than the Lotus that currently leads the way here, but it's not too bad on the weight front. I say the downside of all of this is after you've done that to the car, you're pretty much out of PI. That's basically a lot. I think I got a stage of exhaust on to put it up to 290 horsepower. I think I might have... Did I get a... No, I didn't even get that. I think I got one power upgrade for the exhaust, and then had a couple of PI to do things like flywheel and driveline to shave off whatever weight that I could in this. Yeah, 290 horsepower. It's not bad at all. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad in terms of the power for the vehicle, but it isn't going to be the greatest power to weight ratio. The hope is that it's going to have enough grip to make the most of the power. It's unlikely to challenge that 340R. The hope is, though, that we may well see the car challenging the likes of perhaps the Audi Quattro and so on. I will also say, before we get underway, today I did a live stream of running vehicles up the hill climb stage. So there are probably going to be cars, or there might be cars we'll talk about in this that you don't recognise or you haven't seen the run of. I'll put a link to the VOD from that. So if you do want to go back and watch, there are cars like the Jaguar F-Pace currently sat in third, because silly SUV with very large tyres turns out to be quite quick. Things like F-Pace, Lotus Exige, Civic RS, Mercury Coupe, BMW Z8, Sunbeam Tiger, and so on that have run up this course that we may end up be competing with this BMW. I mean, I'm kind of hoping the M1 can compete with the F-Pace. That might be a tall order. I don't really know, though. I don't really know. Fingers crossed, at least, at the end of the day, that the BMW is going to be half decent running up here, because I like the M1 and would like to see it go faster than a modern SUV. Well, here we are on the start line with our BMW M1. I shall be having 3 attempts to get up the Needle Pass as quickly as possible. The ultimate target time is a 1:23.6 set by the 340R. Realistically, I think unlikely to see the M1 beating that. If I can get it into the 25s, I'll be quite happy. I mean, it's a 25.3 for the F-Pace, or 25.2, sorry, for the F-Pace. So if we could get close to that, would be very good. I expect the M1 to be decent up this course, looking at the stats, knowing how this car drives, or certainly in previous Forza games, I would expect the M1 to be pretty bloody fast going up here. So here's hoping we can set a decent time. Little slidey through these first few corners. Oh, come on. Find some grip. Okay, little slidey. We've put wheels on the gravel, on the dirt. Lost a little bit of time through all of that. We can just dink that checkpoint with the rear wing. That's fine. Get away with it. How fast can we be through here? Pretty fast, actually. We might want to go down to second for the mid-corner through all of that. Where do we brake? Up here. That's quite nicely done. Yeah, there's a little bit more oversteer, perhaps, from this car than I would ideally like, although I might... I can probably rein that in slightly. I've been quite aggressive with the BMW. I mean, it gives you confidence to be aggressive, this car. There is plenty of grip. It is, in some ways, nice and safe to drive up here compared to some of the twitchy, difficult to drive vehicles that have gone, but that might have been a little bit too much in terms of oversteer, too much in terms of faffing about with the car. I guess I have to wait and see what's going to come of it around this final corner. get on that power as soon as we dare. The run to the line, it's an okay start actually, it's not a bad start for the BMW. 126.6. Yeah, I think a little bit of a neater run. Definitely a 25 is obtainable. 25 is obtainable. Yeah, I mean that's not a bad time. It's only a couple of tenths down on the Miura, so a good start for the BMW. Definitely more to come. So here we are on to our second run with about 6-7 tenths of a second to find in the BMW. Less sliding around, certainly early on in the run, will probably help save that little bit of time. I think a high 25 is probably where we're looking at if I can get everything together nicely with the M1. This is a nice easy car to drive quickly, and I mean that helps certainly when you have only got 3 runs up a course. Having a car that's easy to access the performance of is very much needed, if you like. We'll run through these first corners. It's much neater this time around. I kind of know what to expect. Little tiny bit of wheel spin as I go to get on the power there. But yeah, no big oversteer moments from the car. No big nasty surprises. Oh, a little. Still pushing it. Still pushing my luck a little bit in places. We could almost be... It's weird. I can almost be flat out through that corner. I think you could possibly do it. You can be flat out on the way in. The problem is, when you are flat out on the way in, unless your car has massive amounts of grip, you actually end up being slightly slower on the exit part because you're so wide heading towards the second part of the corner. So might be better off having a small lift on the way in, get the car settled, and then be faster on the exit. The gears don't quite help it at that corner. It's you kind of want to be in... You go into it in third, you kind of want to be in second halfway through, though. It's just a little bit of a faff, and I don't think this run here has actually been all that great. It's been a little scruffy in other places. We're finding different places to have a slightly scruffy run. Come on. Around that. It's actually a very, very nice final hairpin, though, as we accelerate up towards the finish line. No, it's slightly slower. Okay, we were neater in the first part, and then we were a bit messier in the middle parts. It's another 126. It's time 26.7. Well, it's all going to come down to the final run. Well, there's certainly nothing like a nice high-pressure run to finish off with. Yeah, we're going to try and get this one right. Can't make any little mistakes. We need to stop any oversteer through the early part, try and be a bit neater through the middle part, and we were pretty good at the final part last time around, and see what happens with the BMW if everything stays together. We will try and carry a lot of speed through the first corner. That is pretty much spot on. It's a nice start for the M1. As I say, this is not a horrendously difficult car to drive quickly up here. I mean, little mistakes are going to happen with everything, but it's because I feel very confident in pushing the car. We have got the tiniest bit of oversteer, perhaps not to my liking, however, may well suit other drivers more. I think that's a bit neater through there. Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a lift on the way in. It's just that little bit of mid-corner understeer can catch you out, but it's still carried a lot of speed on the exit now up here. I've been a little early on the brakes, although this is a horrible, horrible corner. It often feels like you're early on the brakes when you've got it right, and then you try and be a little bit more aggressive, and suddenly you've missed your braking point and you're in trouble. It's a nasty braking zone, kind of a nasty crest to have to deal with. This run is feeling much better from the BMW, trying to get on the power nice and early, the faintest bit of wheel spin, the faintest bit of oversteer now. Can we be nice and neat through these final couple of hairpins? Don't get on the power too soon. We don't want any more oversteer than we absolutely have to. It is all good around there. And the final hairpin for the BMW. Is this going to be enough for the M1? Small bit of wheel spin. It's very close. I think I'm a tenth maybe away in that one. It's a 126.039 in the end. Much, much better final run. When we found the 6 tenths per second, we could have just done with a few hundredths more from that. Yeah, pretty good run in the end. Once you get out the silly little mistakes with the car, yeah, it's a fast vehicle. It's a very, very fast vehicle up this course. At the end of the day, to be even getting close to the 25s is a mighty, mighty fine performance here. That time for the vehicle is going to put it in to a 6th place. It beats the Civic RS, it beats the Miura, the Mercury Coupe, the Clio, the 68 Mustang, and so on, but loses out fractionally to the Lotus Exige, and we are a little bit down on the likes of the Quattro, the F-Pace, the Evo 6, and so on. Yeah, it's a good car. It's a relatively easy car to push hard. I think, sort of, I say consistency-wise, when I was a little bit out compared to some cars. Overdriving it is... I think in some ways it's easier to overdrive this car because it is quite easy to drive. I know that might sound a bit strange, but because you've got the confidence, because there's a lot of grip there, you're more tempted to chuck this car around than something that's more awkward. And that's when you get these little bits of oversteer and you get into trouble in a couple of places. On the whole, though, a very, very nice car to drive. Highly recommend the BMW M1, and as a car to sort of learn a course, or to learn a hill climb stage, for example, this would make a hell of a vehicle, because it is quite easy to push very hard. Perhaps ultimately lacking a little bit of acceleration in places, and I'd say lacking a little bit of grip. It's pretty damn good through the corners, however, I think there are grippier cars out there, so either way, a very, very solid vehicle nevertheless. That, though, is going to be it for this video. As ever, if you have vehicle request cards you would like to see run through this course, please do leave them in the comments section. The most liked vehicle, as long as it is something that I have or can obtain, can afford, etc., and fit with an A-class, shall be run next time out, and we will see if anything can beat that mighty, mighty Lotus. That'll be it from me, though. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.